Welcome to the episode number 5 of the Mindset Space podcast. I'm your host, Annie Velasquez, and I am beyond grateful and excited for you to be here. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh my God. Oh my God. I still can't believe that this is the episode number 5 of the Mindset Space podcast. For me, this is really a big milestone because it's been a while of me dreaming, of me thinking about it, of me doubting myself. Because, yes, you might be thinking, oh, everyone that started a podcast or a YouTube channel or starting social media following and stuff, like you might think that everyone have everything settled, but that's not the case. Most of us are just like you, like just fighting our fears and our doubts and moving forward and making things happen. And when that happens, like it's something that we should embrace. And, this is the moment for me to just keep moving forward. I am so excited. I am happy to be here showing up for myself and being here to show up in the world and serving from my very best, from my heart. So, yes, this is a big milestone for me, and I am grateful to share it with you. And I hope that all the content that I'm putting out here, it's really useful, that you can practice it, that you can put it into action as well. And yes, today is also a day to celebrate because we have our how do you call this? Oh my God, I even forgot. The jingle. Yes. We also set up the jingle for the podcast. And every day I'm feeling more comfortable. I'm feeling more more confident because that's what happened when you do the thing. At the end, you get the confidence. You boost your energy and you keep the momentum going. And that's what happened when we take action. Yes, that's what happened. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about something that is really important for us to kind of be ready to take those steps, to move forward, to take action, to be ready to show up in the world and be our very best. And that is to take time for yourself. Because as solopreneurs, we are constantly juggling into family, personal time. Most of us, like sometimes we have a job, it can be a full time job, a part time job, and we have this desire to build a business along the way. But some entrepreneurs, they have the opportunity to, be fully dedicated in the business. But for others, which is also my case, I also have still, because our goal is to transition eventually into becoming full time and all in on our business. That's our goal. But in the meantime, how do we take time for ourselves? How can we manage to juggling a 9 to 5 or a part time job while having this desire of building a business or building our business already, like working on it, having clients, working with them already, in whatever it is, if it's a product or a service that we serve people with. And also, along with that, we have our family, we have our house. We want to take care of everything, and that's good. And that's good because it means that we care for our family. It means that we really we don't want to leave behind anything. We want to pay attention to everything. That's kind of, how will I say it? It's very, like, it's amazing for us to have this feeling. Like sometimes, oh, but we feel that, oh, but if I work on my business now, if I take some time for myself now, I could use this time to work on my business, or I could use this time to be with my kids. But what about your time? What about you? Because the truth is that the most important piece of your life, it's not your family, it's not your business, it's not your job, it is you. Because if you don't have what are you going to give if you are not ready to give anything? Like if you don't pour in your own cup, how do you think you're going to be ready to help others, to serve people, to grow a business, to nurture your family? It is so, so important. It's the foundation of your life for you to set aside some time for yourselves, for yourself, because when you do that, you will constantly be showing up as your very best. And that is what is going to help you grow your life, your business, to be a good mom, to show up in the world in the way you want to be, the way you want to be, the way you want to enjoy your life, your time on this earth is so magnificent when you put yourself as the main character of the story. And there is a phrase from Wayne Dyer that I recently read about this thing that really touched me. And that is that you can't always control what goes on the outside, but you can always control what goes on your inside. Meaning that a lot of things can be happening around you, but if you don't have control of your life, of yourself, you will always be like wandering in circles and moving into directions that not always will be leading you to where you really want to go. And why I'm saying that, I'm saying it because if you don't pay attention to yourself, if you don't nurture yourself, this is what is going to end up happening. You will be in pain because there will be a lot of overwhelming feelings because sometimes you will be doing things that you don't want to do. And at the same time, you will be like, oh, but there is something lacking. I am doing this, but I should be doing that instead. And those are the feelings that will comes up over and over telling you, take care of yourself. That might be reflected in overwhelm, anxiety. You will feel tired, like not having energy for you to do your stuff, for you to, I don't know, for you to work on your business after, if you work on a full time job after coming home, for taking time for your kids. And I always like to point out that there is no one at fault with these issues, that sometimes we forget about taking time for ourselves. The truth is that it is true indeed that there is a lot going on all the time. And sometimes if we are not like focus on that, if we don't do specific things in order for us to actually take time for ourselves, we can forget it. And we are not at fault. I always want you to know that you are not at fault. The reason is that there are tons of things always to do. Like if it's because of the things we have to do, we will never take time for ourselves. We will never take time to nurture ourselves. Because if it's because of the to-do list, there will always be things for you to do. And that's something that we also talked in the previous episode. So how do you come up with an idea? How do you come up with a plan that will help you work on yourself? And more importantly, stick with that. Like to do this on a daily basis. Like how do you nurture yourself on a daily basis? How do you take time for yourself? Even though there is always a lot to do as a solopreneur, as someone that has a family, but also has a job, but also want to, work on yourself. Like how do you actually take time for yourself, juggling all these things at the same time? How do you do that? Well, today I will tell you 5 ways for you to do that. I will show you the way for you to do it because there is always a way. I'm always happy when I come up with those topics because sometimes we feel like, oh my God, but how can I stop feeling overwhelmed about not being able to complete my to-do list, about always feeling stuck because I never accomplish anything I set for myself. I want to take time for my business. I want to take time for myself. I want to do this and that, but I I don't know how to. There is always a way. Sometimes you just don't have the right information. Sometimes you just need to keep trying and pushing yourself into finding your own answers. Okay. And this is something I love because it's been my own experience. I remember when I started my business back in 2020, I was always like, I just gave birth to my daughter, and I was constantly like feeling the guilt of not having time for her because I was so passionate about starting this business that I pulled like most of my time into focusing on the business. And then I was always so guilty because sometimes it was 7 in the morning and I just took some breaks in between. But most of my day was working on my business because I had to, there is a misconception out there that, and a lot of like gurus will tell you to, oh, that you need to be on social media every day, that you need to do this and that. And I was all in on that. I was so, you know, genuinely naive about everything in business. And I felt so guilty about not taking time for my daughter back then. And I was like, wait, but why did I started this in the first place? I started this business because I wanted to take care of my daughter and have more time for her. And also like to serve people from my very best, from my calling, something that I really love helping people about, right? And then all these things came in between. And I was, most of the days, I was kind of overwhelmed. And then that was a reflection, a constant reflection of how I show up in my business as well. Because I was kind of happy because I was becoming an entrepreneur. But at the same time, I was like, oh, but this is actually what having a business means. Sometimes I am not lying to you. Sometimes I spend like 2 days, 3 days in a row working on a master class or working on following up on clients, because it's when you are a solopreneur, like when you are doing all the things you like, if you already started your business, you know that there is a lot of things that are constantly things that we have to do, things that we have to learn, the ads, the sales, that you are basically everything. That's why I relate so much to all of you guys, solo mompreneurs out there that are also in this journey, because I know how that feels. So let's just talk about it. Let's talk about how we can find time for ourselves in this situation where we are trying to do it all, when we are trying to make things work for us, when we want to work on everything and not leaving anything behind, when everything is important. How? The first thing is to really understand that you are the most important, because it is indeed. As I mentioned before, if you don't take care of yourself, there is no way that you will be able to serve your family, your business, your job. There is no way that you will show up in the world in the way you want to show up. And the reason is because you are like a cup. You are like a vase where you are constantly feeding yourself or putting there things. Let's say, I don't have like an analogy right now, but the idea is that if you have an empty base, if you don't have anything to share, anything to give, there's no way that you can help people, that you can grow, that you can continue moving forward. And there is this phrase that I heard about. I don't really know who wrote it, but I just love it and I want to share with you, that says, it's your world you lived in. The sun, moon, and stars may not always revolve around you, but you definitely shouldn't be a second thought in your story. You never should be a second thought in your story. When you're cooking, the first plate you need to serve is yours. When you want to rest, the first one you need to pay attention to, like if you have some rest, is you. When you are celebrating, the first one who need to buy a gift for is for you. This might sound very selfish because you might feel like, oh, but my kids are first. My husband is first. No, there's no way. Nobody comes before you. You are the most important because if you put everyone else like in front of you, where would you be left? Where would you be? You are the first. You are your first priority here. And this is something that will might sound really kind of like, oh, what are you saying? So I need to think about me first and then my kids? Yes. Because if you take care of yourself, you will be a better mom for your kids because you will feel good. And whenever you feel good, everything around you, dealing with your family, dealing with your business, clients, your job, everything becomes easier because again, your cup is full. You're full of energy. You're full of peacefulness. You're full of happiness, right? So please understand that it's nobody, it's more important than yourself. So you need to acknowledge that. You need to basically understand that you are the most important. This is not selfish. This is not you forgetting about everything else and just thinking about you. No, it's about understanding that you are the most important piece of your story, of your life, or of your movie. You are the main character and you need to become that main character because that is the only way that you can be your very best because your cup is full, because you are full of all these beautiful emotions that will constantly be reflected. You are constantly reflecting what there is on the inside. So if you pour, the more you pour on your inside, the best that you will also pour on the outside because it will be a reflection. If you are sad, if you're overwhelmed, if you're anxious, this will be a reflection on your business, on your job, on your family, on your kids. Anything you do will always be, you will be reflecting all the time, your fears. How do you feel in the world? And that is why it is so important. I hope you take note of this and understand it, acknowledge it, so that you can start moving into a place where you feel better because this is the idea. The idea is for you to feel fulfilled, for you to feel and embrace a life where you kind of manage it all in between in a way that makes sense for you, in a way that sounds good for you, in a way that feels right. That's the purpose of this podcast. That's the purpose of of me being here, showing up in the world to help you understand that there is a life out of fear. There is a life out of the overwhelming space. There is a life um, beyond all of those overwhelming emotions that sometimes make us feel stuck and don't allow us to move forward in life. All right. The second step is that you need to really schedule time for yourself on your to-do list, meaning that you need to have a specific amount of time for yourself. So, for example, if you have a lot of things to do, which it's the case for most of us, you're going to go and just schedule some time for yourself. When I say take time for yourself, I'm not saying that you need to take 3 hours for yourself. I'm not saying that you need to spend the whole day just, sleeping or dreaming about what you want your life to be and then neglecting other areas of your life. It's not about that. It's about you understanding that there is a piece of moment during the day that is for you. For example, what I do is I wake up half an hour early, not all the time, because sometimes depending on when I go to bed, like I do my best to go to bed by between 10 to 10:30. But if I don't go to bed by that time, I don't wake up with that time. that time frame that sometimes give me the opportunity to take that precious moment for myself before going to work, before, taking my daughter to school and all of that. So what I do is I am very intentional with that. Like I will literally set specific things that I want to do before my day start, because that for me it's me filling my cup. That is me making sure that I am settled, that I am, in the right mindset for my day, for my work. When I do this work that I do for myself, I feel, grounded. I feel good. And what I want for my day is to have and feel the best that I can be, like feeling my best, so that then I show up in my best self. When I am focusing on things that make me feel good during my day when I do these things. So if I don't have the chance to do it in the morning, which is very there's nothing that happens a lot, because I always find some time for me to do something that will make me feel good, just starting my day, to feel grounded, as I said, to feel good, to work on myself. And because again, I understood that I am the most important. So if I feel good, and I know that as a result everything will feel good, then I will always set myself intentionally to do that. So what I do, you might want to know what I do. I'll create another podcast, be telling you specifically all the things that I do. But more importantly, what I do is I do my prayers. I go through specific meditations for the day, like very quickly. I want to share with you a couple of the things that I do. I do journaling a lot. Like I journal every single day. I do, oh my God, I do a lot of things, because for me, this is important for me. This is important for me. You don't have to do all the things, but I take time, at least half an hour for me to do this, because this is so important for me. I do all that stuff. And then, and before going to bed, I will do also a meditation before sleep as well. Or if I didn't have the chance to do this little routine in the morning, then I find some time during the day to do that. But this is not like I'm already, this is part of my routine, and I don't skip it. Like it will be every single day. And when I skip it, I will try to find the way to do it. So, but I will talk more in a more detail, in more details about what I do on another episode. If you want me to talk about that, please leave me a comment, shoot me an email, so that we can get in touch and just tell me what things resonate with you about this topic, and what would you like me to talk about. All right. So let's move on with the second topic, and that is actually make personal growth your number one priority. You really, really want to make growth your number one priority. And that does not mean you obsessing with the idea of growing and changing, because sometimes we can get to a point of feeling overwhelmed with the idea of change, because change is amazing, but also comes with a lot of challenges. Some of us are in different stages in our lives. And if we are not ready to kind of work on specific areas, or we might need to work on some areas first and then we move on to the second one, like that's the way we should approach this. But the most important is that when you understand that your personal growth is your priority, you will always find time to read a book, to listen to a podcast, to schedule some time for yourself. to understand that this is an ongoing thing, that it's not that you will just, you know, today I'm going to read a book and then I just, in another month, I then read another book. It's not about reading books and books. It's about reading a book, but implementing what you read. It's all about understanding that whatever you do for yourself on a daily basis will help you constantly grow. And when you are constantly grow and moving forward, guess what? Your life gets better. You change path. You redefine priorities. You feel good about yourself. And you show up in the world in a way that feels right, because you will always feel that you are filling your cup, that you are working on yourself. And that is something that makes us feel so good, because we are here to thrive. We are here to live a life that feels good for us. And personal growth gives you that opportunity to transform, to evolve. There will always be areas in our lives for us to change, for us to work on. And when you do make personal growth part of your priority, your number one priority, there will always be room for you to improve new things, to learn new things. You might be thinking, oh, but I thought I was doing this right. But guess what? You learn a better way. You become more efficient. There are a lot of things that you will get from you making personal growth your number one priority. All right. So when you make personal growth your number one priority, you are at the same time putting yourself first. You are saying, okay, I am important. I love myself. I know that if I take care of myself, I will take care of my family. I will take care of my business. I will show up in a way that feels right for me. I will live a fulfilling life because I am constantly evolving. And when we are not working on ourselves, when we are not paying attention to what we do, we basically sometimes we feel stuck because we are not evolving into the person that we want to become, into our dreams, our aspirations, and where we want to be in the future. So if we are not doing that, then we are doing other things. And then we feel overwhelmed because we are not fulfilling our desires, fulfilling our potential, and fulfilling who we are in what we came to do in this world. So that is why making personal growth your number one priority is the key for you to find time for yourself, for you to understanding that as a mompreneur, you can find time for yourself, but you need to be very intentional and make it a priority. Making a priority the idea of you, your personal growth, and how important this is for you. All right. So four the number four thing, the number four step that you are going to do is to every day, you're going to practice to love yourself a little bit more. Love yourself a little bit more every day. You need to love yourself, because when you love yourself, you can love others. When you love yourself, you will constantly reflect. Do you remember what I said about you being a reflection of yourself all the time, of what is inside of you? The love that you give the love that you give to yourself, you will also give it to others. The compassion that you feel for yourself, you will feel it for others. The empathy that you feel for yourself, you will feel it for others. And you will reflect that over and over on your life on a daily basis. So, yes, loving yourself is so magnificent because it puts you in a position of being able to love others. It opens your mind into uh, a life full of opportunities, full of happiness, full of embracing your life and just enjoying life as it is. You might hear about living in the present moment, right? And enjoying your life and surrender to the present moment. All of this comes from loving yourself. Because when you love yourself, you stop doubting yourself. You stop finding problems on yourself, finding your mistakes and focusing on your mistakes. You move forward from that past and you just focus on enjoying who you are and embracing who you are right now without bother what happened in the past or what might happen in the future or the mistakes that you made today, just right now. When you love yourself, you are constantly evolving because you know that you are important, that your life matters, that you are here to fulfill a purpose, and that you deserve to live an amazing life. And that is what you get. That is what you start living because you embrace that this beautiful life that you have because as a result of the love that you feel for yourself. And that is why it's so powerful. I will always be encouraging you to love yourself and a little bit more every day. It doesn't have to be something that you will just start and oh, I just love myself. Even if you don't feel it, even if you uh, are starting, this process of working on yourself and understanding yourself, you can do this every single day. You can practice it every single day, little by little, into those little actions that you can do every day that will make you love yourself more. With being compassionate with yourself, forgiving yourself for your own mistakes and the things that you do wrong. Just with that, like starting with that, for example, for if there are things that you couldn't do, you forgive yourself. You're flexible. You start being flexible with yourself and practicing these little things every day, these little activities like being compassionate to yourself and all of that can give you opportunity for you to practice loving yourself. And at the same time, by scheduling time for yourself, it's a good opportunity for you to start doing it and being more intentional with this so that it can become a natural thing for you. Because I know that for some people, practicing taking time for themselves can be really difficult because it's not easy. It's not easy. Sometimes there are things that we need to work on for us to be ready for that. But the most important is that if we really want this, if we really want to live a life that feels good for us, then we're going to take the time to do it. Even if we are not ready yet, we are coming, we are on our way for us to find the time, the opportunity to start doing it because that's how it is, that's how it happened. We are constantly growing at the same time of the mistakes that we make. Sometimes we think that, oh, we make a lot of mistakes, but all those mistakes are also opportunity for growth. All of those times that you felt that you just kept stuck and didn't do anything, you are always learning. Even if you don't feel that you are moving forward, you are constantly learning new things. And that's why you become better. That's why you are becoming better. Even you just taking the time to listen to this podcast is a new opportunity for you to also like understand that you are also like taking time for yourself, taking time for yourself. But this is just an example of that. And the number five thing I want to tell you is that you need to set boundaries. You need to be very specific in terms of, you know, the time that you want to take for yourself. You need to communicate it with your family and everything you do. I think you should be involving your family. For example, if you have a 9 to 5 and when you get home, you want to take some time for your kids, but you also want to work on your business and you want to take half an hour, for example, to dedicate for your business today, Oh, okay. So you need to communicate it with your family. You cannot be working on your own on this, because at the end of the day, you are all a team. And the help they give you will be so important for you to move forward on your life, on your business, on your work, the work that you do. So you need to set boundaries. Okay. So, hey, family, today, every Tuesday and Wednesday, I am going to work on my business. This day, I'm going to record my podcast. So this is actually what I do with my family. Okay, I'm going to record my podcast, and they help me. How they help me? They help me by, for example, my husband will take care of my daughter, which is, I appreciate that so much. He will take care of my daughter. Right now, he's actually taking care of my daughter while I record the podcast, so that she doesn't interrupt me, for example. So they need to be involved on the things you do, involved, so that they are part of it, and they feel part of what you do, and communicating those boundaries is healthy for you, for your family, and you can practice this on your work, on the like the schedule that you have for your business, like the time that you set out to work on your business. For example, working on our business is something that is like, if you're really passionate, like if you're just like me, that we are really passionate about working on our business, sometimes time will just fly and you forget about all the things because you want to keep working on your business. But the thing is that, okay, I have all the things to do. Okay, I have to stop. I said that I was gonna work on this for 1 hour. Okay, I stop. You need to set boundaries for yourself so that you can keep, you know, making sure that you don't neglect other areas of your life. And this is something that you can do it also for the time that you schedule for yourself. Oh, okay. So today I woke up late. I couldn't set some time for myself, but okay, on the car, alone, like on the traffic, I'll take some time to reflect on my life, reflect, meditate, in the sense of thinking about my what I want for my life. I will journal on my work, like in on my break. I will journal. I do that sometimes. I will journal on my work or on my way to work. If, for example, if your husband is driving and you are like there's what I mean is, you can set boundaries for yourself. You By setting boundaries, you will be able to accomplish more things, because that means that those things are important for you. That means that you are crystal clear, setting the specific communication, the specific things for you to actually get more and accomplish more. Because you won't be forgetting, you won't be just thinking about things. You will be clear and specific about what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and you will be able to follow that guideline that you just set for yourself, because that the boundaries are basically rules, guidelines, limits that we set for ourselves. And if we don't set those limits, how are we gonna really accomplish what we set for ourselves? Because we will be constantly forgetting or about the things that we want to do, or we will just allow everybody to come and just say, okay, I want to, let's go out. Oh, but you said that you today that you were going to work on your business, for example. Oh, but you said that today you were going to set like 1 hour to work, to be in, like taking some time to be just present with your kids. So you're going to go out with your friends. So you see, when you set those boundaries is when you really put those limits that will allow you to move forward into whatever it is that you want to do, or that you want to work on yourself on that specific day, or will allow you to take more time for yourself, because you will set the limit. Okay, I need to set at least 50 minutes of the day to take time for myself, and I'm going to do it. And this is a boundary that I set for myself. Okay, I am going to set some time for myself because it's important for me. And I schedule it, I put some time on it, and I don't go over that 50 minutes. If it's 50 minutes, I go and take 50 minutes. And that was my quota. That was my quota for today. But I made it. I made it happen. I set that boundary, and I told my family, like, if I have to do something, I want to get everyone involved. This is another example that I'm jumping in. Get everyone involved in anything that I'm doing so that they know. And I also set specific communications about that. That's all about setting boundaries and saying how you can do that. It will make it easier. It will make life so much easier for you, and it will allow you to take time for yourself more. All right. And then the last thing I want to leave with you today is that to understand that when you feel good, everything around you flourish, literally. When you take time for yourself, when you're intentional about your growth, your life will change for the better. This is what happened to me. And this is what I am constantly experiencing on a daily basis in my life. And I'm sharing it with you because I know that this will impact your life in ways that you will be so surprised on how you will see all of this being reflecting in your life. You are the most important part of your story. And you want to write that story where you are the main character. You don't want to be in the last. You don't want to be just someone coming and hanging around when you are the main character. Become the main character of your movie, of your story, and embrace the opportunity to every day, even if it's half an hour, please don't get me wrong. When I say take time for yourself, I'm talking about taking some time, starting with something, even if it's half an hour, even if it's 15 minutes. Take time to nurture your mind, to work on yourself, because your business is constantly a reflection of yourself. And anything you do to nurture yourself will be also a reflection on your life. So let's recap. So, in order for you to start taking time for yourself, even when you are juggling a 9 to 5, starting a business or already on the business, you have a family, you have your husband, you have a to-do list to complete, always a lot of things to do. The first thing you need to do is to understand that you are the most important. You are your first priority. Understand that and acknowledge that. The second thing is that you need to add time for yourself on your to-do list. The third one is making personal growth your number one priority. And number four, loving yourself every day a little bit more. And number five, set boundaries. This has been life changing for me. And I really hope that this episode have given you some light into your world, into the things that you might want to try in order for you to feel better, in order for you to lead a life and business that feels right for you. I thank you for being here with me, listening to this episode. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.